On a silent night in Rome, when the tourists have vanished, the streets are empty, and the city finally exhales. One light still burns inside Vatican City. Behind a guarded gate, down a staircase of cold stone, lies a vast underground world that almost no one is allowed to see. A maze of corridors, miles of shelves, centuries of locked secrets. This place is known as the Vatican's Forbidden Archives. For hundreds of years, this archive has held documents that shaped, and in some cases, distorted, Europe's history. Letters from kings, trials of scientists, secret agreements with dictators, and files that governments would rather the world forget. Today, on Dark Europe Files, we descend into the cold, hidden vault where Europe's most controversial truths were buried. The story begins in the early 1600s. Europe was burning with religious conflict. Empires were fighting for influence, and the Catholic Church was right in the middle of it. To protect its political and spiritual power, Pope Paul V created a private archive, a place where sensitive documents could be stored out of public sight. He called it the Archivio Segreto Vaticano, the papal private archive. But over time, as the doors remained locked and rumors began to spread, private slowly evolved into forbidden. Today, the archive stretches across 85 kilometers of shelves, more than 600 collections, and documents dating back to the 8th century. Inside are long corridors with no windows, cold air that never changes, and a silence so deep it almost feels alive. Every day, fewer than 60 researchers are allowed in. No phones, no cameras, no random browsing. You must request a specific document. And if the archive staff decides you may read it, only then do they bring it to you. It's less like a library and more like a vault of controlled memories. Among these shelves are documents that could completely reshape the way Europe understands itself. Here lie the desperate letter of King Henry VIII begging the Pope to annul his marriage, a request that would eventually change European religion forever. The trial records of Galileo, where science and faith collided in a way that still echoes today. Secret Inquisition files, accounts of interrogations, confessions, and punishments that were never meant to be read again. And private letters between popes and European rulers revealing hidden alliances, betrayals, and political games played behind closed doors. Every document is a quiet earthquake, waiting to be felt. Yet this is only the beginning. Some parts of the archive are rarely discussed. Sections containing reports on banned books, lists of condemned scientists, and letters from European monarchs who shaped the continent's darkest chapters. Here, history is not clean or heroic. It is complicated, messy, and painfully human. But the most controversial part of the archive belongs to the era of World War II, especially the files connected to Pope Pius XII. Historians have argued for decades. Did he stay silent while millions suffered under Nazi terror? Or was he secretly helping victims from behind the scenes, operating in shadows the public never saw? The truth lies somewhere inside these shelves. For decades, the Vatican kept this section sealed. Then, in 2020, Pope Francis ordered it to be opened to researchers. A historic moment that shocked the academic world. Suddenly, thousands of pages were revealed. Secret letters, wartime reports, pleas for help, and communications between church leaders as Europe collapsed into chaos. But, even now, only a fraction of these wartime documents has been fully examined. Many boxes remain untouched, many files are incomplete, and many questions remain unanswered. The mystery is far from solved. Over the centuries, myths have grown around these archives. Some claim they hide forbidden gospels, others whisper about occult writings, and some insist there's evidence of phenomena far beyond human understanding. None of this has ever been proven, but the truth is undeniable. The archive does contain rooms that remain sealed even today, some for preservation, some for protection, some for reasons no one explains. And that silence is exactly what keeps the legends alive. These documents don't just record religion, they record power. They contain diplomatic deals, political negotiations, confessions of kings, and moments in history that European nations may prefer to forget. If every file were released at once, the consequences could be explosive. Heroes might look less heroic, villains less demonic, and entire narratives about Europe's identity might collapse under the weight of hidden truth. So the Vatican insists we reveal history responsibly. Critics reply, truth delayed is truth denied. Maybe you and I will never walk inside these archives. Maybe we'll never touch the parchment that recorded Galileo's fate, or the wartime letters that defined Europe's darkest century. But even from a distance, we can feel the weight of these secrets. These aren't just documents. They are human lives, ambition, fear, guilt, power, and sometimes hope, frozen in ink, hidden in the dark, waiting for the right moment to change what we think we know. And so we're left with a single question. Is the Vatican simply protecting fragile history or hiding truths that could still shake Europe today? What do you believe? Share your theory in the comments below. This was Dark Europe Files. If you want to explore Europe's sealed rooms, lost treasures, forbidden archives, and the secrets history tried to bury, subscribe, because our next investigation goes even deeper into the dark.